you're building in one of the fastest markets any of us has ever seen. Any of us has ever seen. We have never seen this type of a market. We have never seen so much velocity in the history of humankind, not just like in the history of tech. AI moves really fast. Trends move fast. Opportunities move fast. And because everything moves fast, a lot of you guys are trying to match that speed with more effort, more urgency, more pressure. And I'm so glad I got a chance to introduce where you are, Vamsi, because that's really like, it's very challenging for people to feel that they haven't made the progress when all of those things, the world is happening around them. But the real truth is that real competitive advantage is not speed, it's stability. It's the founder who stays clear while everything else is spiraling, right? So that's the person who sees the angles, the gaps, the insights that others miss. So today we're going to work on your internal operating system, the part of you that decides how to build when things get chaotic. Because if you can stay centered when everything around you is noisy, the whole game gets a lot easier, right? So here's some of the thoughts I've had around how to bring that grounding, that clarity in your day to day, right? So a couple things. Number one is to train your nervous system to handle uncertainty without spiraling. This is a big one. Ambiguity and uncertainty, if you cannot handle that without spiraling, you're going to end up developing the level of stress and exhaustion that just slows you down massively. So how do you train your nervous system to handle uncertainty, right? So there has to be a grounding ritual you must go through every day. For some people, it's exercise. For some people, it's just meditation. For some people, it's going on a walk. You gotta give yourself that extra time. This is the time that you are selfishly carving out for yourself to train your nervous system, to condition your nervous system. So that's the first thing. You must have that routine on a daily basis. You cannot just say, I'm going to do it once a week. You must have a nervous system reset happening every day. So that's the first thing I found helpful. The second thing I found helpful is learning. Daksh, the breathing works really well. That's one of my favorite exercises, the breathing, because sometimes you don't have, as an entrepreneur, you don't have time to work out for an hour or even half an hour. And, cold showers are amazing. Thank you, Wamshi. Thanks for sharing that. I remember us having a discussion on this. Quick, they're like 2 seconds, 2 minutes, and you're set. A reset. The reset happens in 2 minutes. You just jump into the cold shower. So I love that. You have to also any other ideas that you have that you are using for your nervous system, put it in the chat. I appreciate you, Wamshi, that you're doing it. But if anyone else wants to share examples of how they are setting their nervous system, I would love to hear that. The next thing that I found helpful around this space to ground yourself is to learn how to separate signal from constant stimulation. And this is something I'm guilty of, right? I would love to get on the Twitter and I would love to just see all the AI buddies. All my AI buddies are raising millions of dollars, building big companies, hitting 100 million in revenue in 3 months. And you're like, oh my God, how did this happen? Why am I not doing this? Why am I not there? Right? You'll be constantly getting all this stimulation, constant comparison, constant updates, constant new technology coming out. So you have to know what the real signal is. Yeah, the real signal is you making progress from yesterday to today. Meaningful progress. It could be something small, but it could be something meaningful, and that's the real signal. So you have to separate that. A few other things I found helpful is to build identity first, so your strategy isn't coming from fear. Yeah. You don't want to be coming from the place of fear and, exhaustion and things like that. So make sure you are focusing on your identity, not just getting the results or not just getting the goals, but your identity. So if you still, this is an important one, if you're still an employee, and if you still see yourself as an employee trying to start a business, your brain will keep searching for certainty instead of creation. Really important distinction here. If you see yourself as an employee trying to start a business, if that's how you see yourself, employees trying to start a business, your identity is that of an employee, your brain will keep searching for certainty instead of creation. So the real shift happens when you see yourself as a builder. whose job is to create momentum out of nothing. That's the identity you must embrace. A builder who creates momentum out of nothing. That should be your identity. Not someone who is an employee trying to build a business, but a builder who's creating momentum out of nothing. Your identity is critical. It drives input. Input drives data. Data drives compounding. So quickly put in the chat, I'm going to give you a prompt. What old identity are you still defending? What are you still defending? What are you still trying to protect? If you're not 100% behind the identity of a builder who's trying to create momentum from nothing, if you're not 100% behind an identity like that, then you're trying to protect some other identity that you've been building up for the years. You've been building up that identity for so many years, and it's very difficult to just let it go. Just let it go and just embrace this new version of yourself, especially when you're surrounded by those employee types. So this is an important shift here, to be able to just bring on a new identity every time you day-to-day basis, start your day. Make sure you are doing things that that are moving you forward. Yeah. So the fourth item here around this topic is simplicity. Simplicity scales. Complexity kills. AI tempts everyone to over-automate everything. I just want to automate my distribution infrastructure. I just want to start reaching out to hundreds of people before we even make like a few validation sales, 5, 10, 15, 30. I just want to automate the whole distribution process so I don't have to keep reaching out to people manually. Even before you have made like 30 sales. That's going to show up for you folks when you get to that phase. Because it's boring work. It's a grind. It's very little work. It's a half an hour of work to do the outreach every day manually in the early phases when you're validating your idea. But the desire to automate will show up. It will show up. And your job is to keep things really simple until you hit 100K revenue. I'm not kidding. Simple systems that you actually run, simple things that you actually do, they outperform complex ones that break quietly. So focus on mastering one repeatable, predictable funnel. That's not less ambitious. That's being precise. So then, the anchor question I have for you around this is, what's the simplest system that makes you money, that you think will make you money right now? What's the simplest approach that you can take to start getting customers right now? Without approaching your friends. Hey Maxine, we'll get to your question in just a minute. I'm going through some of the mindset stuff. This is a mindset call, so only questions we'll take are mindset questions. The final conclusion I have here for you all is this. Let's land it. You don't need to overhaul your whole life. You just need one place. Choose one place in this week, in the next 7 days, 10 days. Pick one place that in your business where you respond instead of reacting. You're not reacting, we are responding. One decision you make from center, from being a grounded space instead of stress. One moment where you pause long enough to see where the real signal is underneath all the noise. So that's how you build long term. Not by forcing breakthroughs, but by staying steady long enough for the breakthroughs to show up. Long enough for the breakthroughs to show up. Like Wamshi did. Congratulations, Wamshi. You stayed with the problem long enough for the breakthrough to show up. Almost a year. I remember talking to you in January, or maybe March or February. I forgot when we talked first. But you stayed with the problem. And that's impressive, brother. So take a moment right now to look at your week. Where's one place you've been operating from panic? Where's one decision that keeps pulling you into urgency instead of clarity? Write it down. Write it down. That's the thing you're going to work through together. We're going to have to work through that together. You're going to have to process that. Okay? Because you don't become stronger through more effort. More work, more energy expenditure, is not going to make you better. You manage your energy better, and that's how you get the results. So we can open it up now. Who wants to go first?